Hello, everyone. It's me, Dylan Pescatore, along with Austin Platt. We're here with the New Canaan girls hockey coach, Rich Bulan, ready for a big game tomorrow, a FCIAC Championship against Darien. Stop me if you heard that one before, but we have a few questions to ask the coach before tomorrow's big game. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Anytime, guys. Anytime. Always happy to help.
So, first question. Last year, you really had two, full lines that you trusted in, and now you have three, which is, awesome to see. One player on that third line is Caitlin Tully. She came off a torn ACL last year, battled her way back through a COVID summer, and now she is just rocking and rolling on that third line. Scored again last night. I mean, how has the third line allow you to really, use that and give your first and two lines rest?
I think, and if you don't mind, let me backtrack a little. Not only Caitlin, but Grace Kroll didn't come back till February. Grace only played the last, I think, 3 regular season games before she was able to join us for the playoffs. So, listen, Darien's always been able to do it. We in the past have been able to do it. Having that third line is just invaluable. I mean, if you guys remember, 2 years ago when we won it all, Tully, Cloud, and Lowe were freshmen, and that's why we won. Those three were not only matching up with the other team's good lines and holding them, but they were scoring. And boy, we missed that last year. We didn't have Grace to be able to play with Kaylee and Courtney, and we moved Maddie Cloud up there to help. So without Tully, it was basically now, okay, Jade Lowe, and that's where we kind of discovered that Grace Flato was going to be a valuable part of this year. Once we knew we were all healthy and we were going to be able to go back to that third line scenario, also knowing we were going to bring in 2 new defensemen that were kind of varsity ready to play, and having Blythe in goal, there you go, 3 lines, 5 defense with Aladway being our number 5 and rotating through. We really were excited and thought, hey, you know what, COVID shortened season or not, we're going to be pretty good. And we just have to get better as the season goes on and see where we wind up. And, first game, kind of weird. It was like, okay, girls are excited to be back on the ice. And we didn't play well, but we won. So it's a win and you take it and you move on. The first 2 periods against Darien were an eye-opener because we didn't come out. That was game number 2. We didn't come out. And I remember going in between the second and third, and Courtney O'Connell was giving me the look like, oh, boy, here it comes. And I just looked and I went, listen, I'm not even going to get upset anymore. I'm getting old and I really don't want the blood pressure to get crazy. So you just keep doing it your way, and maybe it'll be 4-0, 5-0, and we'll really get a wake-up call. But if you want to listen for a split second and do what we've been telling you, me, Billy, Carey, Dart, gain the red line, dump it, use your speed, and go after them. And we did that third period, and we wound up making it a game. And you guys know the rest. From there on in, we've been on a 10-game winning streak. And again, great games against Darien and Greenwich, and this last 2 against Fairfield and Trumbull. I'm very pleased with the way we've figured out that, okay, we can dump, chase, forecheck, and play defense. And I think we've been averaging something crazy, like close to 50 shots a game and only giving up about 13 or 14. But again, a tribute to the girls. They go in the locker room now, and there's no speeches. They just say, remember what we did. We kept it simple. Just put it down and go after it. And you're right, having those 3 lines, and Caitlin, oh my Lord, come back and not only coming back and playing hard, but man, she's scoring big goals. Listen, I'm not supposed to announce it, but I don't care. I want your 2 million viewers to know. We had Kaylee, Grace Kroll, who's having another quietly, I should say, great year. I mean, her point totals and what she's doing on faceoffs is ridiculous. So we've had Kaylee, Grace Kroll, and Caitlin make all FCIAC first team as forwards. And for Caitlin, it was just such a thrill knowing how she just hated sitting last year, and the discipline and what she put into getting healthy and getting back. On defense, we've got Mac making first team and Blythe. And second team isn't shabby either. It's Kelly Benson, who came back from prep school and put a lot of goals on the board for us. Lexi Tully is a freshman on defense. And then we had who else? Oh, honorable mention. I think we had Flato, Amanda Benson, Maisie Koo, and Jade Lowe. So we had like 12 representatives. Yeah, it just I'm thrilled because Darien and us, people at the coaches meeting, people were kind of like, oh, a lot of red and blue on this ballot. But if you look, and it's no offense, it's never any disrespect to anybody else, but you know, you put the two of us up against anybody in the state, and you know, historically, the Simsburys, East Catholics, Hall Connords, the Guilfords, the West Havens, and for the most part, the FCIAC teams have always done well, and a lot of the times it's been us, Greenwich, and Darien that'll go play those extra games. So, you know, it was kind of well-deserved, and I feel bad. I understand other coaches are sticking up for their players, and they want to see their players make, you know, first team or whatever, but how do you argue against a first team, two lines of Bellissimo, you know, Raymond and Niffen with Harden, Kroll, and Caitlin Tuck? How do you argue that? It's kind of hard.
To say the
You
least.
really can. You could practically just put the whole team on all FCIAC. You don't even have to do it, I feel like. I love the silent treatment as well in the locker room. It seems like that works as well. And when we talked to the girls' captains, I know you watched that, they said Caitlin Tully and Grace Flato were two of the biggest surprises given that their work output from last year. And, of course, Tully coming off that injury. We'll go back now to these two games this week. Of course, Monday you beat Fairfield Co-op 5-1, and then just last night you beat Trumbull St. Joe's 4-0. How proud are you of your team and how resilient and patient they have been? Because you guys have put so many shots on net, and the two goalie contest very good. How patient has this team been, and how proud are you?
Well, again, going back to the captains and what they do as far as leadership, we go in between the second and third against Fairfield, and it's 50 shots to 6 after 2 periods, and it's a 2-1 game. And again, I walk in and I know I've got that look on. I'm always, you know, And Courtney looks up and goes, Bulan, do you want to go first? I go, no, I'm good. Go ahead, Courtney. She just looked around and she goes, hey, we're not doing anything wrong. We're hitting a great goaltender and just keep doing what we're doing. We'll open it up. And it was perfect. Nothing else really needed to be said because, you know, I understand it. 2-1, boy, that next goal could be scary. I mean, they tie it or we break a little, you know, we get a little distance. But I like the mentality. I like the calmness. I like they're confident that they know if they stick to the game plan, you know, and we always use this line too. You know, you're the better team. Play like it. And if you're playing like it and things aren't going our way, you don't change anything. Just keep playing that like you're the better team. And it's going to always, 9 out of 10 times, it's going to turn in your favor. And I'm amazed that there's no, I think I'm the one who panics. There's no panic among the girls. I'm the one that's like, what are we doing? And they just kind of, when I walk up, like, all right, you know, thank goodness he's gone now. Here's what we're going to do. And they calm it right back down. And I'm very proud of them. Listen, I know there's a lot of alumni and we've had some great teams in 20 years. We really have. But as far as overall chemistry and closeness and family, this ranks right up there. I mean, these girls just so tight-knit and so looking out for each other and having each other's back. And you need that. If the chemistry thing isn't working, I don't care how talented you are. There's always some kind of bump there that messes something up. But right now, it's been fantastic. I mean, I think everybody's glad for everybody else. People are glad for Caitlin Tully. Of course, they're glad for Kaylee. They're thrilled that Maisie and Lexi are making such an impact. And here's another unsung hero. Catherine Rayer is a freshman playing the off wing, which I know is hard for her, and contributing on that line with Kelly and Flato. It has been just absolutely, it was a great surprise. I mean, she works harder than anybody. She gives up the puck. She's always the first one back, and you notice it. You see 24 flying out of nowhere to get back and play. And listen, I'm very proud of my team. It's a fantastic group of girls that they believe in what we're doing. They believe in the way we do it as a family. They believe in each other, which is more important than anything. But man, this has been a hard year. You guys know it. You guys have seen what it's done in school and what it's done in the community. And man, for them, when they got to the rink first day, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I went, oh, this is good. Look at the smiles and look at who's flying around. And we just knew it was going to get better, and it has. No complaints.
Yeah, and back to that family mindset, I wanted to go into those two freshman D-men and Maisie Koo and Lexi Tully. You know,
Yeah.
we always see them, and Amanda Benson as well, kind of getting in on that offense. Sometimes they like to create their own rush as well. What does that say about their trust in their forwards to also back them up in case they turn it over?
Well, I don't know if you guys can hear it on the broadcast or hear it at the rink as it's going on, but you'll hear Maddie Cloud, you'll hear Courtney, you'll hear Kaylee. They'll yell, I got it, I got it, I got it. And Amanda knows she can stay deep, or Maisie knows she can stay deep. Lexi knows. It's oh man, early in the year when we were like scrimmaging and practicing, we were actually going to just have this big lecture and conversation about communication. Nobody was talking. Then we played Greenwich in that first scrimmage. Oh my God, all I heard, Maddie Cloud, you know, Maisie Koo, Caitlin Tully. I was like, okay, I'm not going to say a word because obviously they could read my mind, but I love the fact that if someone does dive in deep, you'll hear Courtney, like I said, I hear Courtney, Kaylee, Maddie Cloud, Grace Flato. I hear them all the time. Got it, got it, got it. And this way someone knows they're being covered.
And certainly defense has it all figured out. And I have to go back to last year for just one of these questions. And of course, losing to Darien last year, 4-2, obviously you're playing with a chip on your shoulder entering tomorrow night. What's the difference going to be from last year's 4-2 loss to winning this year, hopefully tomorrow night?
Well, you're right. Hopefully we win, we pull it out. Again, I think I touched on it earlier, and I'm going to stay with that. I think the difference is we're healthier. I think the difference is the additions of what we have on defense, which makes us that much stronger. And, you know, the new players that we've kind of infused into the lineup, I think that brought us back to the, like I said, the formula we had 2 years ago when we were able to just throw three lines out at people and stay with them or wear them down or whichever way it went. So I think that's a big difference. I mean, again, last year, not a completely healthy Grace Kroll, no Caitlin Tully, and our defense was pretty much Amanda, Sophie Potter, Ala Dwayne, and you know, we weren't as deep on defense. Absolutely not as deep. So I think that coming back to that depth that we have now is just huge for us.
Of course, and to go on the little negative side here, one weakness that maybe anyone could point out, if there was one, would be your discipline this year. Taking penalties.
Oh,
time.
I was having a good night.
You know, Coach, we got to put out some negativity, you know, for our Darien viewers.
No, you're right. You hit it right on the nose. I come home after every game, and I'm doing the stats, and I'm like, oh, great. We're averaging 4.5 goals a game, and we've only given up 8 goals in 12 games, and we've taken 460 shots. Wow. And only given up 155. And then I look in the penalty column, and I go, oh God, this one's got 10 minutes. This one's got 10 minutes. This one's got 12 minutes. This one's got 8. And you're right. That is a killer. We're not built with the 3 lines and everything. We're just not built to be in the box that long. We take 1 or 2 a game, we'll get through that. We will absolutely get through that. We took 4 last night. I don't know how many we took the other night. It might have been 4 again. That second game against Darien, it killed us in the second period.
Yeah, that second period ended the one.
Yeah, and I just, I wish there was that magic formula you could use to make sure everybody understands and sees it on film that what happens when we go shorthanded. But I think the reason, like Billy and Carrie always say to me, you can tolerate it when you know it's with passion. And boy, 90% of those penalties, they're not dumb penalties. They're just, we got lazy, or we didn't skate with them, or we hooked, or we got tired and we were hanging on. Stuff that we should be smart enough to fix and do. And we do talk about it constantly. It's just a matter of, I think, when you're in those situations, you've got to be a little more disciplined and got to be a little more patient. We'll get there. We've only got one game left. We'll get there.
And you've only really given up. And the one goal you did give up in the playoffs was a power play goal to Fairfield. And in that first Darien game, that only loss, you took so many penalties. And I'll be the first to say it, the refs were not great. I'm not supposed to be biased, but there were some of those penalties, and I think you want to know it as well. There were some bad penalties that were taken.
Yeah. I think I have a reputation that I really don't bark at refs and yell and whatever as much, because I've really never had to. And this year I was kind of like, whoa, what changed? But, listen, they're trying to do the best they can under circumstances where you guys probably know better than I do. And I think I'm close to right with the numbers, but there's like 50 or 60 refs that chose not to skate this year because of the pandemic. And that's hard to try to fill in. And listen, the referees are out there working like players. They get tired too, and stuff happens. I mean, the one I couldn't understand, and I'm not going to get crazy, last night,
Yeah.
I watched that film 3 times. By the way, great job. I 3 times today at school. And I'm watching the beating that Grace Kroll and Maddie Cloud took on face-offs and in front of the net. And I'm like, how are we missing this? That one kind of did. I was a little upset with that because some of that stuff, you don't want anybody getting hurt. You don't want a vicious cross check in front with somebody getting hurt. That's all. I mean, but man, there were some last night that were like, those are hits you see in a boys game. But everybody came out of it. We came out of it with a win, and we've got to stay disciplined enough not to retaliate or do anything stupid in those situations tomorrow. That's all, because I think both teams know you want to play tough. You do want to bump a little and do whatever, but boy, you don't want to be the person that takes that penalty and it opens the door.
We'll go one final question here, a bit more positive. Reflecting on the whole season, win or lose tomorrow.
All right.
What will you remember most about this team in such a weird, shortened season? Win or lose tomorrow, what are you going to remember most?
I think the easiest one, because I do see it every day. I see it at practice. I see it at games. I see it when I run into the girls, if they're at the high school, when I'm getting my mail or downtown getting coffee. For such a short season and what we crammed into 2 months and the demands we asked from these young ladies, the whole sense of family you get when you're around them. Listen, I think I've told you guys this, and I apologize if I'm boring you, but I never get tired at the end of every year that a new parent steps in front of me and sticks the hand out and says, wow, this is different than any sport my daughter's ever played. This is special. And I went, hey, it's what we built, and it's what I give the upperclassmen so much credit for carrying on and passing down. And Catherine Rayer looked at me and she goes, I never felt like a freshman this year. I said, no, we don't allow that. There's no freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. You make the team, you're here, we pick you, you are, NCGH, you're a member of the family. Everybody's going to be here for you. They're going to give you rides. They're going to pick you up if you need something. You'll see. And it's just amazing when the new kids show up and go, or Kelly Benson coming back after 2 years and going, man, I miss this. And it's just, I love that. I love that the girls have been able to maintain that, pass it on, and that they've understood from day one. to me, you know, how important it was, because I think I told you guys when I got my first coaching job, I was 22. And I remember I was so happy. And I remember my father and he was a wonderful man, but a tough Russian Hungarian. Oh, boy. And he looked at me and he goes, "Hey, you going to do this coaching thing for a while?" And I was like, "Yeah, I hope to." And he goes, "Do me a favor. Don't be that Neanderthal moron that stands in front of kids and does nothing but scream. Get to know them, their parents, their families, how their grandmother's doing. Just make it family. They'll skate through a wall for you." And I was like, wow. And then I thought about it. My younger brother said, "Hey, he's never given us a piece of bad advice." And I always tell the girls that was the goal. And man, they've done a wonderful job keeping that.
Of course, a wonderful team at that, and we're excited for tomorrow. It's going to be 4 o'clock at the Darien Ice House, FCIAC Championship, New Canaan, Darien. No better matchup. It'll be me and Austin on the call, and for the last game either way, hopefully New Canaan pulls it out. But thank you to Coach Bulan, and we'll see you tomorrow at the rink, Coach.
And guys, honestly and very sincerely, thank you for the coverage. Thank you. You made my life, like I said, I'm not bored in class anymore. I've got so much to look at and do and listen to the commentating. I've loved it. You guys have done a wonderful job, and thank you.
Of course, Coach. We do it because we love it, and you've made it easier being able to call wins rather than losses. So that's on you. And
Thank the girls.
thank the girls as well. So hopefully we can pull out another win tomorrow. That'll be it. We'll release this tomorrow morning for our millions of viewers, 2 million viewers, I should say, and everyone will be able to see it before the game.
Thank you, guys.